Since my season hit rock bottom at 2-7, I have ran the table. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm going to fall one game short of the playoffs no matter what in our league, which is cool because I didn't want the championship belt anyway. As you guys know, I was going to win for the bragging rights and just give it to number 2 anyway. But I'm in for the ring, and I'm not giving that one up. I am going to be in the consolation bracket, and I'm winning that ring. It's my own little miniature Super Bowl ring, except, it costs, like 1/100th as much as a Super Bowl ring, and the diamonds aren't exactly real, but Fantasy Jocks did a hell of a job with our consolation prize, so that's fine. I'm going to win the ring. The ring is the thing anyway, but championship belt up for grabs. Actually, there's a couple of people who thought they had the playoffs clinched in our league who may fall out completely depending on how this weekend's games go. 6 teams will advance. 6 of you guys come this time next week will be competing for the Fantasy Football Championship title belt, brought to you by Fantasy Jocks, our good friends at fantasyjocks.com and the Sports Fix. Can't wait to give this one to somebody. Last year, Dean Samples won the championship belt, but this year, he's not doing too well. Returning champ status. You know what? Our league is a jinx for the returning champs. I mean, each season. 2 years ago, it was Brett Crow, and then he didn't even make the playoffs the next season. His name was returning champ, and he was not the returning champ. And it's been that way, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years. The curse of winning the Sports Fix Fantasy Football League. The next season, the winner hasn't even made the playoffs. I think most of the winners didn't even finish 500 the next season. There may have been one. Don't get mad at me out there if you did. But anyways, and we'll talk about that next week. And no, Charles, there's 2 separate brackets. The top 6 are in their own brackets, and there is only one winner take all, to win the championship belt out of the top 6. The bottom 8 are in for the ring and the horse's ass trophy. Don't forget about that. Whoever finishes dead last in that bracket will win the horse's ass trophy. Whoever finishes first in the consolation, I'm not using the term losers bracket, consolation bracket, will get the championship ring. Y'all can give it up. The ring's coming to me, man. Like I said, if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. I'm going to finish that thing off here in the playoffs. But anyways, I came close to running the table, you guys. Hey, you know what? In one of my other leagues, I'm in one of those nifty scenarios where I've got to win, and then there will be like a 4 or 5 team tie for the final playoff spot where you get into all those tiebreakers and everything else. So I'm sending text messages out. You got to win. You got to win. Take care of business for me. Help me get into the playoffs. And anyways, so thanks to BJ Rudell for being with us. Of course, thanks to Tom Hamilton, voice of the Cleveland Indians, for joining us for nearly an hour. The entire second hour of the show, for the most part, went to our interview with Hammy, and I'm, again, just honored to get a chance to talk with him and get a chance. Thank you very much to the Indians, to Gray Company Publishing, Jane Lassar over there, and of course Terry Pluto and Tom Hamilton, Glory Days in Tribetown. You guys can pick it up at all kinds of book retailers. It's available on Amazon. It's all over the place. You can get a copy. We're going to put the links out here on our show pages momentarily for you guys. If you don't win, don't forget, I haven't even checked. I'm not going to do anything. I'll announce the winner tomorrow on the live broadcast. I have not even looked at the email yet. thesportsfix@aol.com. Fire off an email if you want to win a copy of Glory Days in Tribetown. I'm going to, at some point here this afternoon, evening, I'm going to go through the emails and I'll find the winner. It's going to be number 25 in honor of Tom Hamilton's 25 years as the voice of the Indian. So get your emails in. Somebody's going to win that book. I'll let you know who the winner is tomorrow. Glory Days in Tribetown. Terry Pluto, Tom Hamilton. And like I said, I mean, really, if you guys just take my word for it, excellent book. I devoured it in one sitting, and you will as well. Thanks to those guys. Thanks to Kendall Lewis, too. The BSK found a way to get in. Even when we thought we weren't going to be able to get it in, we got him in today as well. Tomorrow, looking ahead before I get into the final segment of the show, looking ahead tomorrow, Friday, you know we're getting ready for the weekend. We're going to get you all set. There's a Big Ten title game coming up this weekend. We've got the Browns, and of course that means Friday, Football Friday, getting ready for Buckeyes, getting ready for the Browns. We'll talk about it with Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com as he's got the Indianapolis Colts scouting report. there's a lot to scout on the offensive side of the ball for the Indianapolis Colts. So we'll talk to Jeff Gorman about that. Ryan Ruiz from Dog Pound Nation's going to be with us here. He was the beat writer for Dog Pound Nation, and he brings us 3 dog bones to a Browns victory, what they have to do this weekend at home to win this game against the Colts. So we'll do both of those things tomorrow. Jonathan Knight, sports writer extraordinaire, in the house. Looking forward to catching up with him as well and get his thoughts on the latest week that was in the Browns quarterback carousel and all of that stuff. And as well, talk to him a little bit about my conversation today with Tom Hamilton as well. So that's all coming on tap tomorrow. Plus, don't forget, Eddie Jansen, beat writer for the Cavaliers for morethanafan.cleveland.com. He's going to be with us tomorrow. Talk some Cavs, talk the latest week that was for the Cavaliers, who get back into action tonight. Cavs and the Knicks, they get back on the road after wrapping up the 5-game homestand with a 4-1 record during that. And I, again, with that 4-game winning streak to end it, I really did like some of the tenets that I saw, but man, we talked about it yesterday. When they get away from playing defense, they're just a different team. They're a bad team when they get away from playing defense and moving the ball. When they do it, I'll put them up there with anybody in the league. I said it the other day. The only reason that they won that game was the 5 minutes that they showed up to play defense down the stretch, and they were able to turn the tide, because that thing was slipping. When they fell down 11 points there, man, it was slipping away, and then boom, they showed up. Once they figure out that switch that they flipped there and they stop flipping it and just leave it on, again, watch out. Mike Miller stepped up big there. He looks like he's beginning to play himself into shape. I don't think he was in basketball shape to start the season. It looks like he's beginning to get himself there. I know David Blatt's going to trust him a lot. They're already talking about extended minutes for him. And I actually think the depth may work out a little better over the next week for the Cavs, because you'll get some extended time there, assuming that Miller is really playing his way back into shape. And Dellavedova as well. I don't think he'll be back until the back end of this weekend. I think it'll be Monday that they're shooting for, or maybe even when they come back home. But that is soon. It will be in the next week or so. Delly should be back out there as well, which won't be the biggest scoring punch, but he helps. He plays defense, helps move the ball a bit. But you'll be able to maneuver around this rotation a bit and extend it. And then, my man Dion, got to be honest, he's got to get it together. Dion Waiters is a little bit down here. You guys know a lot of Cavs fans have given up on Dion Waiters. I haven't. I have not given up. I believe that Dion Waiters could be the X factor to this team if he truly wants to be, and if he gets himself comfortable in the role that he's in, And I don't know. I got to be honest with you. The more I think about it, the more I think that he'll probably be the piece that is part of whatever helps bring the piece in that the Cavaliers think that they need to bring in. I just about did it again. By the way, you guys, I tell you all the time that I'm running everything by myself behind the scenes. So, the Freudian slip, when you're staring at a screen, and I usually have the Twitter feed up on one of the screens always, staring at the screen. I was thinking back during the break, I did that with Hammy. I've got a page full of interactions talking about Browns and Hoyer and not winning the Super Bowl and stuff like that. And I'm talking to Hammy, and I go, team name, and the first one that pops out of my mouth, like it's that Freudian slip. I go, Browns. What the hell am I talking about? Let's try that again. When the Indians went to the Super Bowl. What the hell am I talking about? I had to get off of that screen, but it happens sometimes when you're staring at something. If you've ever noticed that, try doing it. Stare at a screen and then talk about something else, and notice if you don't accidentally slip one of the words you're looking at into the conversation that you're having, and then you just stop and go, what did I just say? Never mind. I don't even know what I was talking about. But anyways, I almost did it there again. Cavaliers here. That'll extend the rotation, but that's still not for a couple of days. And talking about Dion Waiters, wrapping up what I said about him, I think he can be a significant piece of what they're doing, but he has been slumping a bit lately. I think he could be the piece, but I think he ends up being the piece that brings in the piece that the Cavs feel fits the team better. We'll see. He has a very attractive trade piece, and that's why I think that, because they're not going to fight to fit square into round. You know what I mean? They're not going to do it. They're just going to find fit. Fit is David Griffin's favorite word. Fit. And that's probably what they're looking for here, but we'll see. Anyways, Dellavedova, day-to-day right now. Verjao is too, although he was out there playing the other night, banged up. Cavaliers, Knicks tonight. Was it 7:30, I believe, is the tip-off. Obviously, you guys know last time these two teams played, there were some issues. As you know, it was the beginning of the season there, and Cavaliers were definitely discombobulated in that 95-90 loss to the Knicks, and Carmelo Anthony led the Knicks with 25 there. However, since then, the Knicks 3-15 since opening night, 4-15 on the season, as they just can't get anything untracked. Meanwhile, Anthony won't play here in tonight's game, at least unless I'm wrong. I do believe Carmelo Anthony will be out for tonight's game. That's the latest that I heard, which again changes things. J.R. Smith, however, may be returning. He was out for a game here with the flu. They may get him back in tonight's game. He's day-to-day. So Cavaliers on the road with the Knicks here, first of 3 before they come back. And a couple with Toronto coming up here over the next stretch as well for the Cavs. 9-7, looking to get into double digits there. And again, I'll just finish that talking about where I started. When this team decides to play defense, man, they're a completely different team. So tonight, we'll see what they do on the road to get another look at the Knicks here. And then it's Friday. Tomorrow, they got the back-to-back as they head up to the Air Canada Center and take on the Raptors. And like I said, they've got another one a couple of days after with the Raptors coming back at home. And I go back again laughing. Just we mentioned this, I think, on yesterday's show about Kevin Love and that story. We were on the air when people were asking us about it a couple of weeks ago when it blew up with Sam Smith went out there. And all he didn't even say Kevin Love was leaving. It's so funny when you actually stop and you know how easy it is to tell whether a story that you read has any merit to it or not. Just look at the words that they use, because a lot of times guys are masters at writing things that sound definitive until you read all the transitional words, and then you go, well, they didn't actually commit to anything in there, but they sure made it sound like they did. And then you see that all the time. Speaking of leading headlines, boy, the Plain Dealer. There's some people at the Plain Dealer not happy with the Browns quarterback decision. I love to look at some of these stories, Mary Kay's story here, and not trying to pick out people individually, but the words that they use when they put their headlines together for the story can tell you exactly what their bias is on the story, and they're not even able to hide that bias very well. It's very funny. If you read today's Plain Dealer, you'll see what I'm saying in a couple of their stories about the Browns quarterback situation. But anyways, looking back at that Sam Smith story, he got all that play, probably got millions of mentions if he Google searched himself and looked up probably got millions of mentions to that thing, and he never committed to anything. He didn't say, I heard this, was told this. He didn't even give you the unnamed source. He just said, don't be surprised if. Well, guess what? Don't be surprised if it snows tomorrow. I have no reason to believe it's going to snow, but now you can go tell the world that Jerry said it's going to snow tomorrow, and I never did. All I said was don't be surprised. Guess what? Don't be surprised if I'm on the air tomorrow. Don't be surprised if I'm not on the air tomorrow. I'm just telling you not to be surprised, and you can take that and run with it. But that's what happened with that Sam Smith story, and I remember talking about it with guys here on the show, talking with you guys and just going, guys, if you didn't hear it, and I know some guys don't tell you the truth, so I'm not trying to say if a guy said it, take his word for it, but I'm like, is there anywhere in there that Kevin Love said any of that? And I love what he came out and said yesterday. We mentioned it on the show. He just came out and said, listen, I want to be here. If I could just sign the doggone thing now, I would. I came here for a reason. I didn't come here to hit and run. I'm going to be in Cleveland for a while. So relax. If I could sign the paperwork now, I would, but I can't. And even then, some of the more negative-minded fans of Cleveland are still going, who cares what he said? He's going to leave. I'm like, really? Then he wouldn't have bothered making the open statement that I'm not going anywhere. He would have just kept his mouth shut. And then after he left, he could have said, I never said anything. Instead, he said, don't take rumors. Let me give it to you straight from my mouth. And that's still not good enough for some people. I get a kick out of that, man. We do sports talk. I'm all about sports talk, but no matter what we say, even if I think it's a lie, if I'm talking about Joe Blow and Joe Blow